you guys? Welcome back to Lily Reads. So as you can tell by the title, I have read 100 books so far this year, and here is the thing. I do not pride myself on the amount of books that I read in a year because, like, when you think about it, what does that really prove? Like, I'm literate. I know that I'm literate. I have a degree in English. Like, I know how to read books. I know I have good comprehension skills. I know, like, it just doesn't prove anything to me. It's less about the quantity and it is about the quality. As I grow older and I start to, like, I have a home of my own, and I like to think about the books that I want to pass down to, like, my future kids, or like the library I want to build in my home. So when people come over to my house and they see the books that I have, what are the books that I want them to see? What is the reading that I want to have done? And so when I'm reading books, I more so like to have a good quality of books that I read, because as I grow up and I grow into my reading taste, I want to be able to walk into a bookstore or shop online and be like, I like this and I know I don't like that. Like, I want to be able to say, this is a genre of book I enjoy. This is a genre of book that I don't enjoy. I know a lot of people, especially like booktubers, you make the content that is going to, like, people want to see, read the books that people want you to read. And it's like, I'm not going to be that person who does that, because I don't really believe in reading books that don't serve me. Like, it just doesn't serve me to read books that I know I'm probably going to hate. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just not the way that I like that. I don't want to spend my time doing something that makes me miserable. When I created this channel, I wanted to create a channel to have fun. My favorite thing in the world to do is read. That's why I got a degree in English. Like, I just love everything about books. So I want to be able, over the years, to start just building a library of books that have quality, and to have quality reading years. I don't feel like 2022 has been a quality reading year. And so, to get back to the point of the video, because y'all know I can talk all goddamn day, I've read 100 books, and I should not have. There are plenty times this year where I read a book and, like, I'd be halfway through and I'm like, I should stop reading this book. I should stop reading this book. I should DNF this book. The word of this video is DNF. I should no longer be reading books that don't serve me, but it is so hard for me to DNF books. The people out there who are really good at DNFing books, can you please explain how you are able to do that? Because here is the thing. I am a physical girl. I like to read physically. And when I'm, like, at the 75 page mark of a book, and I don't really read books that are over 400 pages, I feel like if a book is 305 pages and I'm at the 75 page mark, like, what is it to read 230 more pages? Like, it just don't seem like that much. Like, I've already invested a lot of myself already into the book. But what ends up happening is, I know honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, by the about 80 page mark, I know what I'm going to give a book. By the 80 page mark, I know if a book is going to be 1, 2, or 3 stars. Now, when a book is really good and I'm, like, on the edge of my seats, we get into the 4 or 5 category, where it can either be a 4 or it can be a 5. But 1, 2s, and 3s, I pretty much already know by the halfway point. Like, this ain't digging on me. And it's like, you can stop, can you? If you know you are going to give a book 3 stars because you're simply not enjoying it the way you should enjoy it, you can stop reading the book. So I'm going to go through some books that I read in the 100 books that I read this year that I should have completely stopped reading. Like, I did not get anything out of completing these books. I just didn't. The first book that I have up here is The X Talk. I read this book. I found the main character annoying. I found their relationship really weird. Like, I was just reading this book. This is kind of like an office romance, a workplace romance. They have, like, a radio show and they pretend to be exes. So they're fake dating in a way, but they quickly start real dating. It was just like, it was never compelling. It was just very boring. The romance just didn't really do anything for me. And when it comes to romance, I know what I like. I know what I like in romance. I don't need to be this taste tester when it comes to romance. I know the romance books that I enjoy, like the type of romance that I enjoy. So I just don't need to read every run-of-the-mill romance. And this was a run-of-the-mill romance, but worse. Like, I felt nothing, and I thought it was written not to my taste. So, like, no. The next book is Homicide and Howlow. This book ends up here because I just think I read the first one, Arsenic and Adobo, and I was like, let me pick up the second one. I enjoyed Arsenic and Adobo. And like, the mystery in this wasn't compelling. The stakes weren't high enough for me. For a cozy mystery, I didn't feel like the hijinks were there. It just felt like we were running something back that didn't need to be ran back. Like, I feel like Arsenic and Adobo could have been enough, and I quickly wasn't into this one. I just wasn't into it. I was just like, this just doesn't feel right. Like, this doesn't just feel like this is adding anything to my life. But I finished it, I guessed the mystery halfway through, and I could have stopped reading. I could have flipped to the end to see who had done it and called it a day, called it a DNF, but I didn't. I finished reading it, and I shouldn't have. That was 2 books less than what I needed to. The next one might be a little bit shocking, but stay with me. Finley Donovan. I liked the first Finley Donovan book perfectly. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a really good mystery book. But there was a way that I didn't want these books to go, and that's the way this book went. Like, once again, I found this, we're running something back. Does it need to be ran back? It wasn't as fun as the first time. Then it went down that hole I told you I didn't want this book to go down. And so I was just reading the pages, but I wasn't in it. And it's like, I know what a good experience with Finley Donovan is. The first one, Finley Donovan is killing it. Is a good experience with Finley Donovan. Why do I need to have a mediocre experience with Finley Donovan? It just didn't make any sense to have that mediocre experience with Finley Donovan. So I could have just been like, this isn't working. I can stop. It's not like you necessarily have to read this book to read the next book. Like, I mean, it's a cozy mystery book. So like, does it like, I could have just been like, okay, tell me who done it. Could have went and got what happened and left it alone. I just didn't need to continue this book just to give this book like 2 or 3 stars that I gave. It just, I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't as fun as the first time. The next one is a love story. Do you guys remember when I read this at the beginning of the year? Yeah, this is a young adult book about these 2 people who work in rival pho restaurants. Young adult. It was young adult. I wasn't really in my young adult era yet, and I just found this a bit boring. Like, there was moments that were cute, but overall, just a bit boring. Didn't need to read it. Like, I just could have stopped. It took me longer than it should have, but I love the cover, so it's literally not going anywhere. I am keeping this on my bookshelf, and I read some of the reviews of this book, and like, I could see why people appreciated this book. It just didn't serve me fully. The next book that did not serve me, but I can only blame myself, is For Aunties in a Wedding. I didn't like Dal A for Aunties, and so I picked up For Aunties in a Wedding thinking like, ooh, it'll work for me this time. That never happens. Like, with TV shows, sometimes like the first season didn't work for me, but the second season will. With books, it never happens. When I reread a book, I never like it more than I liked it the first time. And then when I read the second book in a series, when I didn't like the first one, it's never better. So like, why did I pick this up? I found this book excruciatingly bad. And I still read the entire thing for some reason. For some reason, I still read the entire thing. And I shouldn't have. It wasn't worth it. It didn't give me what it was supposed to give. It was just really, really bad. You ever like, this book upped the stakes in the Dal A for Auntie series, but in a bad way. To the point where like, I didn't find the first one all that appealing. I didn't. But like, this dialed it up a notch. And it's like, the book is entitled to do that. That's what the second book in a series is supposed to do. It's supposed to dial it up a notch. So Kenya, if you know that's what the second book in series do, why would you pick it up when you didn't like it, when the stakes was low? When they dialed it back, you didn't like it. I don't know, but this didn't work for me. The next one is The Love Hypothesis. I had to make sure I even read The Love Hypothesis this year, and I did. This has been a long year. This doesn't feel like a long year. It feels like the year is just like breezing on by, but like, I read this book a long damn time ago. The Love Hypothesis. Ooh, the tropes. Ooh, the tropes. It's just, this book was never, like, I didn't like none of the scenes. I didn't like the age gap thing, which I don't hate an age gap story. I don't. It's just, I ain't like this. I didn't like this. I just didn't like nothing about it. I didn't like the writing in this. I didn't like the way our characters were described. I didn't like none of the scenes. I kept on reading because, like, I knew you guys wanted my opinion on the book, but like, ooh, this wasn't good. Ooh, this wasn't good. And like, I say that, and the thing is, a lot of people I know did give this book 5 stars. So I actually thought I was going to like this, because here is the thing that I always say. I am not this Scrooge. I am not this Scrooge. Fuck the gossip. I am not this Scrooge. I usually enjoy things that people enjoy. Like, if a book is pretty popular, I'm probably going to like it, especially a romance book. Like, I am not this Scrooge. I don't go in ready to hate everything, or I don't try to like things that people hate. Like, I think those people are absolutely annoying as hell. Like, I pretty much like things that people enjoy. So I actually thought I was gonna like this. I saved this book so much. So, like, I had a 5-star prediction list in my head, and this was on it. And this was on it. And when people said, like, they thought I wasn't going to like this book, I thought they were crazy. I'm like, yes, I am. Yes, I am. You don't know me. You don't know me. They knew me. They knew me. This didn't work. I should have never finished it. I freaking spilled water all over it when I was reading it. It's a mess. Should have read it. The next book that is just, like, obviously faker. This book is so dated. This book is, it's so crazy that this book only came out like 3 years ago, but it's so dated. Because it's the same way I feel like a book like The Love Hypothesis is going to be dated in 3 years. That's just kind of how books kind of go. Like, even books like that I have from like 2012 or date, like it's really, books just become dated. It's just nothing you can do about it. Like, books remind you of a time. Books get printed in like patterns. Like, the things that get published are all kind of the same, because if it was popular for this, it was, so for example, like, People We Meet on Vacation gave us this big boom of vacation books. Like, you know, things just come out and things like that. You know, I think we're gonna look back on like romance and be like, this is like the smutty era. Like, every book has ridiculous amounts of smut, and like, we're gonna look back in 5 years and be like, whoa, like, we really love some fucking sex scenes. Like, whoa, like, you're gonna be able to read a book immediately and be like, that was from 2021. That was from 2021. Like, we were there. And I love smut. I love smut. So like, I will have to be the person to say like, yeah, we might have been doing a lot. But this book was just dated. I immediately wanted to put it down, but I put it in a video for some reason. With this channel, I've had the worst of luck with putting books that like suck in videos. I don't know. Like, my best reading is done off the camera, I think. Like, this didn't work for me. It was bad. It was bad. The next one is 100%. I said I was literate, but maybe I was wrong. Final Girl Support Group. This book confused me. This book confused me, therefore it was bad. Audiobook girlies, can y'all tell me if y'all was as confused as me who read it physically? Every girl in this book got so confusing. I would read scenes and have to reread scenes and reread scenes because I got the girls confused. Like, I was getting which girl was which final girl and what her backstory was. And so, like, why did this matter? I was so confused reading this book. This book wasn't interesting. I was just like, no. And it's so unfortunate that I should have DNF'd this book. Like, I was just so damn confused because I really like this cover. I really like this cover. But like, no, this book was bad. I can't believe this won the horror category last year. Like, whoa, who did the vote? Stop the count. Another book that I definitely should have DNF'd. Like, if there was a ranking of like books like I should have DNF'd and then I really should have DNF'd, this is a really should have DNF'd because I don't know what the hell this was. Like, this is one of those books where like you will tell me I read it in December and I'll be like, ooh, I did? Like, whoa, when I was pulling this out my unhaul bag, I was like, whoa, Sex and Vanity. This book was just nothingness. Like, nothingness. Like, oh my gosh, like nothing really stuck to you. There was no meat on the bones. The characters were stupid. When you read a book like Sex and Vanity, called Sex and Vanity, you're expecting like va-va-voom excitement, you know, like almost Gatsby-ish, and like, no. This book is boring. The characters are flat. The story is flat. Like, whoa, this is bad. I should have DNF'd it. I can't actually believe I finished it. Like, whoa. The next one is pretty easy. Greenwich Park, I thought this book took place in New York. It took place in England, and like I just didn't want to read a England murder like mystery or whatever the hell this was. Like I just didn't want to. I was out of it. I didn't want to read it anymore. It was just like whatever. Like whatever. And then this was in the middle, I think, of me reading a lot of good mystery thrillers. So when I shoved this in it, it was just like, no. Then it wasn't good. Like I read it all and it still wasn't good. So if all of these books I've showed you so far, if you erased all of them out of my mind, I would still be the same Kenya sitting in front of you, maybe just a little bit happier. Like they didn't add anything of greatness to my life. Like there's just no character stuck with me, no plot lines, no nothing. Like nothing, didn't reinvent the wheel. The next one, unfortunately, is a Lily Reads book club pick, which let me plug the book club. This month for the book club is Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? You can go get that, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the month. But Fake It Till You Bake It. Fake It Till You Bake It was just like, it goes back to what I said at the top of the video. Like, it was just never gonna be for me. Like, Kenya doesn't need to read fake dating stories with adults. I do not need to read adult fake dating stories. It's just never going to be for me. I should have vetted this book out before I read it, but like I assigned it to the book club. But you know, you gotta have duds in a book club sometimes. Like, what can you do? This just didn't work for me. It was boring. It was so boring. It was so boring. If you read it for the book club, you know we discussed it. It was so boring. It was so boring. Like no. This did not work for me. The characters were bad. I could go on, but like, why do it? I have a whole hour live show being nasty towards this book. So like, well, the next book, now I do want to say, a lot of these books you're seeing on here, you actually won't see in my worst books of the year. Just because a book is like, I should have DNF'd it, doesn't necessarily mean it's the worst book I read. Some of these books down here, I gave 3 stars. It's just like, I also like don't think I need to be reading 3-star books. Like we're 4 or 5 around here. I'm swinging the hit. I'm swinging to hit it out the park. So a book that falls in that category is Dear Haiti, Love Elaine. I gave this book 3 stars, I think. If I remember correctly, I gave this book 3 stars. The problem with this book is I literally dog-eared this book where I wanted to DNF it. Every now and then I'll be reading a book, and if I know I'm probably gonna finish it, I dog-ear the page where I'm like, this book is falling apart. And so at the 94 page mark, I decided I no longer wanted to read this book, but I still continued reading it. But this book has so much mixed media. It's so stylized, and like, I didn't care about any of it. I did not care about any of it. Then this book takes this weird tone shift that's like really bizarre, and the narrative switches, and I was like, whoa, did I sign up for this? But I guess I'm here, so I might as well. And it just didn't fully go in on that premise. And so I was just like, no, I don't want to read this anymore. But I continued it, but I shouldn't have. So the next book is also a more me problem than the book problem. If you want to read about a black girl who lives in LA in the 90s during the Rodney King verdict, this is this. But if you want to read a story about a girl who is dealing with the Rodney King verdict and what effect that has on her life, this is not the book for you. And let me stay with me. I thought this was going to be about this girl having this introspection about how she is in relation to her environment, being a rich black girl, and like everyone around her being white, and like how they reacted to the Rodney King verdict and what that means for her in her position in life. That's not what this book is. There's some Rodney King stuff in here, but like mostly it's this black girl and her white friends. Like mostly this book is just this black girl and her white friends, which like isn't a bad book. It's just not the book I need to read. So I still gave this book 2.53 stars, but like this just wasn't the book I signed up for. And if I would have known what this book was attempting to do before I read it, I would have never picked it up. But like I didn't. This got pitched to me wrong. Like that's the thing. That's why I probably need to take this into consideration as well. Like you have to be really mindful when you pitch books, because like some people are hanging on specific words. And when this book was first pitched to me by wherever I heard about it first, it got pitched to me in a way that this book wasn't. So I went into this book expecting something and got something else, but no money was lost because I think this cover is to die for. Anyways, the next one is All Her Little Secrets. I should have DNF'd this when I realized it was a workplace thriller, but I'm not even gonna lie, that's not true, because I knew this book was a workplace thriller mystery and still picked it up. Like when I heard like her white boss that she was having an affair with was dead, that plugged me in. I knew that. It was just all the other stuff. And this book, this is kind of spoiler, but stay with me. This book has the thing. We as a family, as a community of Black people, we have to let go of the racist organization is just coming to like hurt Black people, and like that's the thriller, that's the mystery. Like y'all not Jordan Peele, like y'all have to let it go. Y'all have to let it go. This is just a common thing in Black thriller mysteries where it's just like this random racist white organization has just like plotted and schemed to take down this random Black person or these group of Black people, and it's like that's the mystery. And it's just like, I get it, but it's played. It's played. It's tired. It's late. Like, we've just seen it done. And it's just like, can we have something else? Can we have something else? Here's the thing. I don't mind stories about like workplace racism. Like, but give me that in the contemporary. Like, please. When in thriller mystery, I want mess. I want suspense. I want drama. And just like random white organization here to take down the Blacks. Like, it's just so boring. It's just so late. Like, it's just like, okay. Another book. That book I still gave like 2 stars, 3 stars. If you remember, you know, this book is offensive to me and my community. Like, I'm so sorry. This book is offensive to my family. This book does the exact same thing I was just talking about in All Her Little Secrets with the little organization that's just like, but it's just so much more offensive in this book. Like, whoa, this book, but before you even get to that, you spend about 280 pages not knowing what the hell you're reading, being confused, not knowing what the story is, what you're supposed to take from this book. I was reading this book. I remember I was sitting there at my kitchen table and I was like, what am I gonna eat for dinner tomorrow? Ooh, lunch on Tuesday. Ooh, I should go out to eat on Friday. Like, thinking about everything possible to not think about this book. Like, this book was so boring. Like, it's just bad. One of the worst books I read this year, and like I just should have never finished it. Like, this is where I mean, like, if you zapped all these books out my memory, maybe I would be happier. I think I'd be a happier Kenya if I never read this book. Like, whoa. The next one, The Club. This book is like a locked room, one person is dead mystery, and I actually don't like that. I can do it, but like, no. Like, I don't like the social commentary thriller, one person is dead, you're about to meet 11 characters and figure out why one person is dead. Like, no, I don't like it. Me and Reese Witherspoon just have different tastes when it comes to thrillers, but once again, do not regret buying this book, because, ooh, that's a cover. Ooh, that's a cover. The cover is sickening. I wish Reese Witherspoon and her stuff wasn't there, but like, ooh, that's a cover. Ooh, that's a cover. That is sickening. The last one is Hide. Ooh, that's a cover. Ooh, y'all know I love me some yellow. And this is gorgeous. This is a cover. But this book is a young adult book masquerading as some adult, like, amusement park hide and seek shit. Like, no. Should have stopped, but I read it for a video. What can you do? That's the end of this. Those are the books that I should have DNF'd this year. So yes, I have read 100 books, and you can congratulate me in the comments, but there's about 20 books I just went through. So I should probably be only at like 80. If we're talking about reading books that like have brought something to my life, I should only have read about 80. Like, we gotta do better with quality. We gotta do better with quality and picking better books for myself. I will say a lot of these books did come in the earlier half of the year. So I do think I've been doing better towards the end of the year, picking better books. Like, I'm being very, I'm being very picky about the things that I pick for me to read. Some books that almost made it here that I didn't quite. Luster could have been in here. Like, did I need to read Luster? Probably not. Eileen, did I need to read Eileen? Probably not. There's some other books that could be in here. Like, did I need, like, that's the thing. I have so many books that I want to get to. And it's like, what if these 20 books could have been replaced with like, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie I really want to read, or like Love and Marriage I really want to read, The Paper Palace I really want to read. Like, there's just so many books that I own, like The Great Circle, Boy Parts, like so many books I read, Vladimir's Disorientation. Like, there's just so many books that I want to read that I'm looking at that could have been took these books spot. Like, they didn't give nothing to me. They gave nothing to me. Anyways, I love you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next one.